Hi, welcome to the second week. This is going to be a big week for you for a couple reasons. First of all, you're officially going to meet Horton and his model. The other really big thing you're going to do is work with your instructional objectives, and you're going to give those to me for the first time so I can see where you're headed with your project. Now, I don't care so much if you give them in ABCD format or SMART format, but here's what I'm going to look for. I want an active voice, and I want something that's measurable. If you give me an objective that begins with know or learn or understand or even review, I'm probably going to send it back and say, pick a different verb. You'll also see, or you'll read, how Horton works with objectives. I don't necessarily agree with everything he has to say here, but having come from 765, where you learned about terminal and enabling objectives, when he talks about primary and secondary, they're the same thing as terminal and enabling. Now, he throws in prerequisites, which I think of as enabling objectives also. The one thing you have to be careful of is that you don't get too narrow with prerequisites to where they're really not an objective or an outcome that you want to see. They're just a step or just a piece of an instructional strategy. Okay, so you want to keep it big enough that it is an enabling objective. You'll also read that Horton simplifies the verbs. He believes that primary objectives are either do, decide, or create. Thank goodness he gives you synonyms, because I think you want a wider repertoire for your objectives. And then where I really deviate from his scheme is that he then believes secondary objectives are know, believe, and feel. And I think there's a much bigger range of secondary or enabling objectives that you might use for many, many different contexts. Plus, I just don't like that word know, because it gets back to a fuzzy, unmeasurable kind of language. So, you're free to disagree with him. You might like some of his simplification. Ultimately, what you're going to give me are at least 2 terminal objectives that relate to your project and the enabling objectives that go with them. And enabling objectives is anywhere from maybe 2 to 5. This week, I only want to see the objectives, and I'll give you very detailed feedback on that. In the future weeks, we're going to develop a column that has assessment ideas, and then we're going to break out the strategies using his scheme of absorb, do, and connect. But that all happens over a matter of weeks. Although I know some of you are going to be tempted to fill in the whole chart now, please don't do it. Or if you do it, just send me the column that has the objectives. That's really all I want to see right now. And that's enough to keep you busy this week, because it's a big week.